Holy freaking cow, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope y'all are all, as always, having a fantastic day. We got just a few weeks or a couple weeks remaining until the end of the year, and the FOMC just dropped the rates and delivered what I would consider to be fairly decent good news. And the market just freaking dumped like crazy. It's a sea of red. Everyone is selling. You open the charts and literally it's panic right now. And so, should you panic, right? Like, what in the F is going on? This stream is more or less about breaking that down, because this isn't the end. It's part of market psychology. If y'all haven't been through some of these meetings before in the FOMC, I'm not going to pull up all the previous times of each time the FOMC had a meeting and delivered what I would consider to be good news and the market just takes a dip. But a lot of the times it can be simple stuff like, hey, buy the rumor, sell the news type deal, right? So a lot of traders already took their positions before the announcement and now they're cashing out once the market's, actually going and doing what they do. Some people are doing profit taking, big players using the opportunity to lock in some gains and causing a temporary sell-off. And of course, uncertainty. Market absolutely loves uncertainty. No matter what, good news, bad news, traders hedge against what's next. Because right now, with only 2 possible rate drops in 2025, people are panicking. They don't know what's going on. They say like, what in the F? I thought we were getting 4 rate drops next year, blah, 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 blah. And maybe even more, right? Getting us back down into that lower 2% rate. And at this point in time, we just have to really wait and see. But of course, the dip is not a collapse. And for some, if you have some spare cash on the sides, it is in fact an opportunity, because historically panic sells like this, they don't last long, especially in strong markets. And folks, right now we got pretty damn good strong markets across the board. When the dust settles, it tends to actually have a massive rally as well. So I just want to say, a lot of people get the opportunity to get their positions in such a way, but don't let the crowd's emotions control you. Zoom out, stick to your plan, and of course, see this for what it is. It's a short-term noise and a long-term gain, guys. Again, we haven't even gotten into 2025 yet. I still believe there will be a massive bull run in 2025, especially when it comes to crypto. But damn, you would have me convinced of something otherwise when you look at stuff like this and you see these particular screens and you're like, dude, it's fucking red. You know what I mean? Like, you look at this and this is on the day, right? So like, you can see what happened. This is what's going on in the overall market, guys. It's a sea of, I'm drowning over here, right? I'm drowning. I got freaking drowning. Save me, folks. Save me. All the coins are red. Every single one. They're all freaking down. This was inevitably gonna happen no matter what, because when you look at a Bitcoin move like this, guys, it has gone up almost, freaking 4x from the bottom, right? 6x from the bottom. What? Bitcoin going and doing a 6.8x from the bottom? Cool. In 700 days? Yeah, there's going to be pullbacks. And guess what? It only had a few times where it actually ended up hitting 30%. If I pull this up right here, there were very few times where Bitcoin gave us a 30% correction. It wasn't until it actually hit this point right here where we finally saw a 30% correction. And that was a shock to so many people. Many times during every other bull run previously, actually, you can see multiple times of a 30% correction, if not 70% corrections or more. So when people are seeing this for the first time, they're like, oh my God, everything is selling off. We're doomed. We're going down to nothing. We haven't even seen a 30% correction yet. Like, even if we get a 30% correction, by the way, that's actually still good, healthy market structure. That puts us all the way back down into this 72, 74K range, which would actually test this level as a level of support. So if you're looking good market structure, you see a good cycle right here where you see plenty times of resistance right here. You go up, you bounce, you come back down, you use it as support, and you start moving on to the next leg up. So in terms of market structure, that would be very healthy, but people would absolutely lose their freaking mind. Is there a chance that can still happen? Absolutely, guys. A 30% correction right now would still bring us into this 75K range. That would shock a lot of people. Everyone would say that's the end. Everyone's gonna be like, the top is what it is. We are done. The bull market's over. It was a fun ride while it lasted, guys. I hope you all took profits, because right now we're just gonna drown into a sea of red. It's all doom and gloom. And that's what you're gonna be hearing across the board from everybody. Look, literally, no matter how far I go down this sucker, very few tokens are green right now. And for the ones that are green, half the time they aren't even up that much. And if I was to actually pull it up against how they've been performing, they probably aren't doing that well in all reality. So again, comparably on what's going on, Bitcoin's still hitting at $100,000. It's sitting at $100,307 at this point in time. It's probably going to find maybe some support around the 100,000. We'll see if it wants to come on back down and retest some of these areas. That is a-okay too, guys. This 74, 75k range, that would be perfectly in line with what Bitcoin has done every single cycle before this. Again, look all the way back here. This is May of 2020. So you get that, you know, beginning of the bull market run, right? So really before the end of the bull market, what's going to start happening come January, it actually got to see at 30% correction, right? And guess what's coming up in January right now in 2025? Potentially a 30% correction. How high does Bitcoin go? What numbers does it end up reaching? How does it find support? Who actually knows? But right now, the overall market, look at the red over here, dude. It is just red across the board. This is coming from stocks in general. Like that's not even crypto coins. If I just go to, you know, the stock market right here, whoops, I don't know if I have the stocks over here for the heat map real quick. I don't know if it'll show me this, but look across the board. This is just red everywhere. All of them are red. And for what it is, it's actually okay, guys. I know this sounds pretty damn crazy, but when you start seeing all of these tickers of everything going down, Tesla's down 8% today, right, on the news. Amazon's down 4%. You start seeing Google down 4%, you know, 3.5%, that kind of stuff. Microsoft's down 3.7%. In some cases, this will actually wipe out the overall gain of what they actually made that year. So do I think it's crazy that people are having this reaction? Abso-freaking-lutely, right? Like, I do believe this is part of what a normal cycle will be. I do believe it is all good there as well. I hope everyone can actually get through the time. I wanted to share the fun times because really, we got Christmas next week. I'm probably not going to be here to be streaming next Wednesday. So I had to hit you with Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday. Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is a crazy good time in my personal opinion. I think we still finish off green for the month of December. I know that is crazy and hard to believe, especially as these prices are doing what they're doing right now, because you look at it and you're like, there's no freaking way we end up green right now. 0% chance, my guy. ATX, you're smoking something and I want all of whatever you're smoking right now. And maybe I'm just smoking opium. I don't really know, but I'm looking at it from a historical precedent on what has happened in the past. We got Trump coming into office in January of 2025, January 20th of 2025, right? He's going to be inaugurated into the office. He's talking about potentially placing an emergency order to essentially allow Bitcoin to start getting purchased right away, right? And so all these things are going to be happening, potentially great news in the ecosystem for Pulse Chain as well, along with the SEC case getting dropped. But I want y'all to understand, and I shared this again with y'all yesterday, some of the potential numbers are absolutely incredibly bullish as all can be, what's potentially possible. And if you can't get through these pullbacks right now, like this is today in the last 24 hours on Pulse Chain. So Richard Hart made a tweet a little bit earlier talking about, hey, it's kind of fun to see everything else kind of remain stagnant in our ecosystem, and all the other tokens are actually looking very red. Like you start seeing again all of these charts back here on the heat map, and boom, it's red across the board for a lot of these tokens. So he's like, hey, it's kind of interesting to see that we're actually just kind of remaining flat. That's kind of cool. which is, you know, comical at that point in time, but hilarious, you know, very true at the same time. When you start seeing what's potentially possible in these gains to be made, folks, and you're like, okay, I have a chance of making a 50x my money, a 75x my money, a 100x my money. It doesn't just come like this. You can't just snap a finger and be like, I got 100x and I didn't have to worry about a damn thing. While that can happen in crypto, don't get me wrong, most of the time you're gonna have to go through some sort of volatility. You got to go through some sort of volatility. So I didn't want this stream to be too long. I wanted to hit y'all with the Wednesday because I don't know if I'm gonna be streaming next Wednesday because of Christmas and family obligations. So I wanted to actually make sure that this is probably going to be the last time I hit you with the Wednesday, my dudes, in 2024, which is crazy to imagine, guys. Again, we're about to enter the banana zone, and we can talk about it all you want, and until you see it happen, it's tough to believe, because you're going to have a lot of people now on the flip side talking about that was it, 100k Bitcoin. I told you that was the top. If you didn't sell, you should have. That was it. That was the crypto run, guys. I hope you had fun. That's all we're getting, though. Granted, crypto has never been around through a recession before. It's never been here, right? We have not seen what crypto will do during a recessionary type environment. Maybe we will be able to see it, and maybe there will be some tightening. But in my opinion, I think we still get a massive bull run in 2025, potentially leading us into 2026 as well. So hopefully y'all have all of that in mind. Let me say hello to the few people who tuned in. I just threw this stream up real fast. I just wanted to get that out there as well. So I see Trace Gates in the house. What's up, my boy? Let's go. Hopefully we see the beginning of nice alt season in January or going into January. Yeah, guys, again, this is very, very common to happen as well. Again, whenever I start looking at, you know, what has happened historically previously on, you know, Bitcoin runs and that kind of stuff as well, it's pretty, I don't want to say obvious to me, but it stands out quite a bit that we are essentially doing exactly what we've always done. Granted, there's going to be some fear, there's going to be some greed, there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff as well. But it's definitely interesting, in my opinion, to kind of see this all play out as well. Let me pull up kind of the fear and greed index, because I haven't pulled that up in a little bit, and see kind of what everyone's feeling like today, because it was feeling pretty greedy, right? It was feeling pretty greedy. And yeah, it hasn't had a chance to really reflect on today's you know, fear and greed index right here. We're still on the extreme greed phase right here. We tend to not last long in this phase before you see some sort of correction. Happens all the time. You know, we're going to be seeing quite a bit of stocks actually get liquidated as well. Not stocks, it's quite a bit of people getting liquidated in crypto, right? If I actually look at this alone for the last 24 hours, many people went long, right? A lot of people went long, and boom, in the last 24 hours, 670 million, you know, liquidated. In the last 12 hours, 500 million liquidated. Really in the last 4 hours, $400 million liquidated, right? And so in the past 24 hours, there was over 235,000 traders who were liquidated, costing a ballpark roughly around $671 million. So a lot of people went long, got wrecked. A lot of people went short, got wrecked. And hey, if you're playing on high leverage, you are absolutely going to get smoked. You know, the crypto game washes out leverage players faster than any other market in general. Because you can see a day alone where you can see a 20% wick down followed by a 25% rally up and ending up 5% for the day. So it wicks everyone up on the way down and wicks everyone up on the way up, and it just wrecks everyone during the entire time, a whole liquidation candle. But again, looking at what we've done in the past with these previous returns, I absolutely do believe that we are going to begin seeing potential of, you know, Q4 to end very bullish, right? We have so far a very bullish Q4 at this point in time, and I do anticipate that we end up still bullish in the first quarter of January and February, even into March. I think we could potentially see a local top in the, not local top, but you know, the first cycle top high in the April timeframe. We'll end up seeing how it ends up happening. But you know, if it ends up coming up here and then this little February, March time frame is, 130, and then we kind of go back down, retest 100K, washing people out, rally back up again to that 200K by the April time frame, May time frame. That's kind of what I anticipate. We're gonna have to see what happens overall. But again, based upon previous history, looking at these charts right now, looking at everything here, and looking what Ethereum is gonna potentially do in the month of January, which it has done on bullish years, it is very bullish to see this kind of end up like this. Granted, if I just scroll over to the right a little bit, you'll see Bitcoin or Ethereum actually ends up a little bit red, right? 2021, it actually ended up a little bit red. Whoops, I guess I should be looking at 2020 because we're going into the bull market year. So this is where, Ethereum was 19%, nothing too crazy for the month of January. And then come 2021, you ended up getting that rally all the way up for 78% all the way into January of 2021, followed by, again, still green in February, followed by green in March, followed by green in April. I could absolutely see something like this happening, leading us into, the altcoin season, where this altcoin index starts getting pretty damn nice and juicy as well, right? We're down to 57, meaning, a lot of people kind of already got shook out. Bitcoin was beginning to rally and outperform a lot of tokens once again. If you actually just compare, really, I guess we'll say the Bitcoin dominance over here for the overall chart, you'll see it's back up to 58. This is kind of retesting a previous level that I had drawn. This is actually a pretty strong support that we had since 2022, right? And so you can kind of see this trend line right here, and maybe you can't, but there's a trend line right there that basically goes all the way back to 2022. We're retesting that. That's exactly what I thought we would end up doing before it actually ends up going right back down. So we're gonna see if it ends up continuing. Do we get a weekly close above this 58%? If so, do we start breaking up into this higher echelon trend up here and this 60%? That would kind of shock me. In all reality, I would be a little bit surprised if we ended up doing that. We do have a lot more institutional money coming in. Governments are coming in, that kind of stuff, looking at buying Bitcoin in particular. So the normal cycle of people buying Bitcoin, rotating into Ethereum, rotating into the alts, isn't happening as quickly because, again, they don't have any interest in rotating their Bitcoin into the Ethereum and then into the alts as well, right? And so that's why you're kind of seeing Bitcoin maintain, in my opinion, a stronger dominance for what we're seeing. But that's not going to last forever, right? Do we maintain this trend line like we're seeing right now? Does it go up and test this 60%? Does it come back down, right? That's kind of the level I would see it kind of topping out at. But again, you have to kind of understand, like, we're in this zone right here for 2025. And if you just go back and look at all the previous times in 2021, right before the bull run, right? This is December of 2021, December of 2020. I mean, you can kind of see it had that final top and then started rallying for the altcoins, right? You look back over here, back in this time frame, this was, the earlier time. Again, I'm just kind of starting over here, but 2016, December of 2016 was back here, right before the alt season run in 2017, right? And so, like, that's where you end up kind of seeing a lot of the cryptos performing something pretty similar as well. And guys, there's going to be a time where I've said it in the past, but this is where you potentially will be looking to sell and take profits when this, Bitcoin dominance reaches around this 40%. Why? Because it's kind of done that every other cycle before. And so, like, do I think it's time to get out and, be done with the tokens? No, I think we are still pretty damn early. Whenever I start seeing those sort of indicators come on, yeah, then I'll be like, all right, cool. Like, if we're floating in this 45% range and we're in this little zone and it's wanting to bounce up and it doesn't look like it wants to, finish up at the 40%, then so be it. I'm not going to, hold that it has to happen, but I do believe that it's probably going to end up coming down, testing out this 40% dominance, and then, Bitcoin will start to rally again like it usually does. We'll end up with the finishing cycle of 2025. And guys, we're still freaking early, man. I really do believe that. I wanted to at least just hop on, make a quick video because I'm seeing so many people, start to freak out, right? And like truly freak out. Especially first cycle people, right? If you were in crypto for a while, you're kind of used to just being like, fuck it, I gotta wait a little bit longer. If you're new to the crypto cycle in general, and this is really that first cycle for you, right? The first 4 years of you being in crypto, for example, in this instance, then you tend to be like a little bit of panic. Like you say, why is the price doing this? And in all reality, folks, all it is more people are selling than buying. That's as simple as it gets. It can be up to the news. It can be up to certain situations, but guys, the market flips eventually. just be patient. Or if you don't want to be patient, take action and buy the effing dip, right? I don't believe we're going to have too many dips remaining into 2025, right? Or into the end of 2024, potentially 2025. Like if I pull up Pulse Chain right now and just kind of see this on the particular chart, we've already hit one of the levels that I would say start buying at, which is a 786. The second level we haven't quite hit right now, right? But if we end up in this little zone, which is 4067, potentially you should be looking to maybe take a little bit of profit on that one, right? And you tend to want to try to do it actually a little bit before that point as well, right? So you want to not only get in right before the 618, but you would end up, let me just kind of pull that down a smidge because I have magnet on right now, but you want to end up getting it right before it kind of hits that little range, just in case it doesn't quite get there, right? Because oftentimes the market will do a quick little fake out right before it ends up getting there, so it won't quite hit that number for the 4067, for instance. And if it does, then you get to lock yourself in at the 4068 if you have some capital available. Again, you should be able to put a portion of that capital already now, right? If you have some spare capital to the side, maybe put 50% in right now. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't see this having too many more dips before we start taking off. This is just kind of where I see the markets playing, right? If I'm looking over here on the PulseX side of things as well, just based on, previous history and everything happening over here, well, whenever I look at the PulseX chart, once again, we have already hit one of my first price levels in terms of where you should be looking to DCA at. And again, you'd want to do it maybe a little bit higher, being that we've already hit it. I don't need to worry about, putting the price point here. Go ahead and make a little bit of an entry, put some of the capital in around this time, especially that you're here, and then potentially right before this 618. So again, that puts it at 4044, right? Somewhere in that little ballpark. Could it go down? Could it go down a little lower? Sure, like anything's possible in crypto, guys. We've seen massive days where it just likes to do something crazy, but I do believe we're going to end up in a situation very similar to this, where we end up in this little bars pattern right here, and it goes up. And this is on the weekly, by the way, too, right? So this is 3 red weeks in a row, and oftentimes it's followed by a nice little green week, right? You get 3 red followed by some green, 3 red followed by some green. And again, we're entering the bull market right now, guys. We're actually entering that next phase of the market right now. So whenever I'm looking at these particular charts, I'm saying, hey, if we want to go off and do something like this, well, then I'm gonna see the next level going up. And let me just kind of move some of these markings that I just did moments ago. But the next phase up would actually put us all the way damn near back at SAC, right? So that puts us all the way back up here, 409, right? And these moves happen fast, guys. We've seen how fast you can actually pump, an ecosystem over here. Again, these are weekly candles overall, but if you just break this down, that's a 2.5x in the span of 21 days, right? And so if we end up doing something like this, again, we got a 2x in the span of 14 days, maybe 21 days, somewhere in this ballpark. It happens, and it happens fast, and it does happen often. This is not something that, is like a one-off scenario. No, dude, crypto absolutely moves quickly. So if you're wanting to go ahead and get your situation and get an entry in, well, these are my positions where I'm going to say put some capital in, right? Like on Hex over on Pulse Chain, you got 2.1 cents. We've already hit the first level where I would be purchasing at this point, right? So, you already got the 2.3 cents right now, or 2.4 cents right now. We're already in this zone right now. So next one is 2.1 cents, right? And that's Hex over on Pulse Chain. Hex over on Ethereum, we're in a similar situation. I think the only one who's actually hit both my targets so far has been the Ink token. But Hex over on Pulse Chain, or Hex over on Ethereum, is sitting at 2055. And again, my next level that I would be looking to be purchasing some more at would be right in that, 2047, right there, right before that 618 mark, somewhere in that little zone. Just get yourself some position available, again, because look how fast some of these moves happen. Again, this is on the weekly, granted, right? But during this time, when you look at some of these moves, guys, this is in the span of 28 days. It's a 4x right there, essentially 5x, right? 400% is a 5x right there. It happens extremely quick, and most people are caught offside. So I don't see this going too crazy right now. I see this in a situation where it's like, I see this in a situation where if you just kind of pull up a similar like bars pattern and say like, hey, what could potentially be possible if it does decide it does want to go ahead and dip back down, and then we see it rally all the way up again. So like, let's just say we see a dip come like this, and then we get it followed by a 4x, 5x, Well, we're all of a sudden back above a penny on Hex over on Ethereum, right? We're at 1.6 cents. Even just reaching that 1 penny level is going to be a monumentous level. I know that sounds crazy, but again, just, everyone kind of killed or said eHex is dead, and it looks like the market's saying against it. It's like, nah, I'm still here, it's still kicking. And if you have your Hex staked, you don't really even give a fuck, because you are earning Hex every single day through T-shares. Right, and so even assuming something like this can happen, it can happen extremely quickly, y'all. Again, how often do you see us go up, nice little 2x, 3x, 4x? This happened 2 times in the span of really, 6 or really 4 months, right? So from September, had a little red October, and then you had a beautiful November into December at the beginning so far, right? And this is kind of where I'm looking. It's done this already 2 times, so why wouldn't it just do this again? If this is an Elliott wave pattern type situation playing out, well, then you get that impulse wave 1 right here, impulse wave 2, impulse wave 3, impulse wave 4 right down here, and then you get that final impulse wave 5. That's a beautiful Elliott wave correction, meaning this move alone, whenever I look at some of these patterns, this move has to be lower than the 3rd wave move. So if I'm looking at the 3rd wave, well, the 3rd wave is actually much higher, right? Not much higher, but it is higher, right? And the 4th wave oftentimes is actually a little bit lower, or the 4th to 5th wave is often lower, but that still puts us up into this penny level. So whenever I'm looking at some of these moves right here, it's absolutely a possibility that we could see something like this come out. Followed by the ink token. We've already hit my 2 purchase levels to be buying. So again, anything that you're buying in these levels, I think is considered, in my opinion, a good buy at this point in time. And again, ink often ends up kind of moving a little bit more volatile, just because, again, people earn it for free. There's a lot of freaking big whales out there who put in hundreds of thousands of dollars in the farm and are earning like 10,000 ink a day, or just something just absolutely ridiculous, right? But as ink gets more and more progressive and more, age on this one for the ink token, for the people who are selling it constantly and for the people who are just holding on to it, the people who hold on to it are oftentimes going to end up winning in the long run. Granted, yes, they can have a certain lifestyle paid for by the ink token. It's absolutely being a possibility, but hey, it's already hit my levels for my ink price of where I'm seeing. And again, we typically see some 3 red followed by some green, 3 red followed by some green, 3 red followed by some green. Hey, if it ends up doing something similar, then so be it as well. But I hope that kind of gives a little bit of clarity on this, guys. And I hope that helps, maybe helps everyone's mindset just a little bit more. I just wanted to come on in here and knock out a quick stream on this one. Again, I didn't want to get too crazy with it today. I just wanted to say I saw the FOMC meeting. I saw Jerome Powell. He really didn't come out swinging on this one today, folks, in my personal opinion. He's kind of throwing out some mixed messages. And the market doesn't like uncertainty, man. We've already seen what happens even on the RH ecosystem with uncertainty. Is the RH case getting dismissed? Is it not? Are people getting subpoenaed? Are they not? Or what's going to happen with this? What's not? Uncertainty is not a good thing in terms of like the market conditions. The market doesn't thrive on uncertainty. It really doesn't. But again, if you're seeing this as an opportunity, then obviously, then, take advantage of it while you can. If you don't have spare capital to the side, your bags are packed, you just want to sit back and wait, then sit back and wait. But like, would you do something silly and sell out now at this point in time, like right before the bull market? Personally, I would not. Time to lock in gains, says Retrospect. All right, love the frequent streaming. Yeah, dude. Don't get used to it. Don't get used to the frequent streaming, but I had to bring out, it's Wednesday, my dudes. So like, as a matter of fact, let me hit y'all with a different one real fast because
it's Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. What's cooking in the kitchen? Oh man, I'm probably gonna have some Chinese food tonight. In all reality, looking forward to that Chinese food, as a matter of fact, as well. DJ and Dougie in the house. Bong bong. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? And saying hello to everyone once again. Again, guys, this stream wasn't meant to be long. I wanted to come on in here. I wanted to hop on, have some fun. Don't let the crowd's emotions control you. Remember to zoom out, stick to your own plan. You got to come up with your own investment thesis at the end of the day. You can always get people like me being a cheerleader, hoorah, and all that good stuff. And, try to, rally the troops, if you will, and try to keep that motivation and spirit high. But at the end of the day, you got to find that conviction for yourself. I got an awesome message from a new Patreon subscriber talking about I got him through some tough times and dark times, and the Pulse Nation, team himself got him through some tough times as well. And I hope I was able to help anyone through that dark time, because guys, the bear market's brutal for sure, but staying true to a particular plan as well is also pretty difficult. And so you got the Pulse Nation crew who is essentially stuck to what we've talked about, man. We don't diverse into other different crypto topics. We have found the crypto that we believe in wholeheartedly. If we end up getting a 10, 20, 30, 50, 700x, 1000x, 10,000x, whatever that number is, we are going to be grateful for the opportunity that's in front of us now. I don't need to go chasing every new shiny token that's out there. While you can go make some money, oftentimes you end up losing it. So I found a strategy that works for me. You got to find a strategy that works for you. Again, I am going to be going over a profit-taking strategy stream on my Patreon this Sunday. It's going to go through different platforms and how to get it done properly this bull cycle so you don't miss out on life-changing gains. You are about to see more money than you've ever seen in your life. And if you come to it empty-handed and you're not sure what to do, oftentimes you will fumble the position. So I'm going to have different strategies on easy profit-taking levels, more advanced profit-taking levels, and then even levels to actually put forth that money to work for you. And I can't wait to share that. Again, if anyone wants to join, link for the Patreon is down below to join the 5P community. You get access to a whole bunch of spreadsheets, not just the ones I share on stream, but a whole lot more behind the scenes as well. You get access to all the previous videos. I think we're up to episode 83 right now. So all the previous episodes have been recorded. Much love to every single one of y'all. Merry Christmas as well. Happy holidays. If I don't see y'all before next Wednesday, again, we got a lot of stuff going on with the family here, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to everyone again. So much love. I hope y'all have your mindset correct, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace. Much love. Merry Christmas.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name, all our insecurities